up, guys? It's Candice with Candice Fitness, and today I'm going to go over exactly why it is that not eating enough can really wreak havoc on your metabolism and on your ability to lose weight. Now, I know that that is against kind of what we all, or what we tend to believe, or what we used to believe at least. I know I did. As a woman, I thought you had to work out harder and eat less and less. And each time you hit a plateau, that meant cut calories back more and keep going. But I mean, what happens eventually? You end up with no calories, or you end up eating nothing, and that can't be healthy. And I'm here today to talk to you about why you really need to make sure you're eating enough for your body while you're trying to lose weight. And it's not saying eating enough of just anything either, of quality calories, of course. But I'm going to go over today exactly why that is, how it affects your blood sugar and how your blood sugar affects your metabolism and how it can affect your weight loss long term. And then also what you can go ahead and do now and how you can start implementing adding more calories back in if that is where you're at. So if you are someone who has been dealing with not being able to lose weight, has been kind of stuck in the same spot, or the scale's been going up even though you feel like you're doing all the work, then keep listening. All right, so the first thing I want to talk to you about is kind of let you understand, or get you to understand, blood sugar and how it affects your metabolism and how it affects your ability to lose weight ultimately. So blood sugar, if you think about it, is something that is controlled by what we eat. So we want to have stable blood sugar continuously. And I mean, we are going to have spikes throughout our lives, up and down, but the key thing is you want it regulated. So when it goes up, you want it to come back down to a stable state. And you want it to maintain most of that stable state throughout the day. And that's going to help your energy stay strong. And what happens when it dips low or when it goes high? Well, glycogen helps restore that to a natural level. So glycogen comes from the food that we eat. It comes from calories, it comes from complex carbs, it comes from really any carb, but we want complex because it helps it stay low and doesn't spike it. One thing that you need to think about is, for example, if you are working out super hard all the time and you are only eating, let's say, 1,200 calories a day, well, eventually your body's gonna be like, I don't have enough to sustain this. Like, my energy, I don't have enough energy to keep working out, to keep doing these things. And it's going to start calling on other areas to get that glycogen. Those other areas are stress hormones. So another example is at night, your cortisol naturally dips, or your blood sugar, naturally dips down. And that's normal, but your liver stores glycogen and it typically will release that glycogen to help bring that blood sugar back to a stable place. But if you don't have enough glycogen in your liver because you're not eating enough or because you're stressed, then it's gonna pull from your cortisol. It's gonna call that cortisol stress hormone and tell it to create more glycogen to help. When that happens, cortisol stays up and gets spiked, and then you wake up, you go do a fasted workout, then your cortisol's up even higher, and then you're just kind of starting this detrimental cycle. And when your cortisol's up, that means it's going to tell your signal to your metabolism over time to slow down, because our ancestors long time ago, their bodies, they would be out for a long period of time, sometimes without food. And so our bodies knew to hold on to food when it was stressed. That way that it could keep pulling from it for that energy as you were gone for a long period of time. So we have that to think. But as you can see, it can kind of create this vicious cycle where your metabolism slows down and it just holds on to everything you eat. Even if you're still not eating that much, you can gain weight because of that. So that's something to think about. And then how it affects your weight loss long term. So long-term effects can be, so your metabolism slows down, those hormones are spiking. It can cause issues with your thyroid. And because hormones, your stress hormones affect your thyroid, it affects your reproductive system, which is where like PCOS and things like that come about. It can really just cause you to have so much stress and inflammation within your body. It could even lead to other autoimmune diseases. They have tons of links of inflammation to them. And I mean, we know that things like RA, like I have, it's caused from inflammation. And having that cortisol up and having irregular hormones and all that can cause inflammation. So it's just a detrimental cycle, and long term can have really bad effects. So that is why we need to really make sure that we're eating enough to get through our workouts, to power through and still keep our metabolism strong. And a lot of good food and quality fuel is what we need. Now, how do you know how much you should be eating? And that's what we're going to get into next. So how do you know how much you should be eating each day? How do you know what number to aim for? And I'm not here to tell you need to go count calories like a crazy person, because that's not healthy, but you need to know about where you're at and where you should be. And the best way to do that is to start with knowing what your BMR is, and that stands for basal metabolic rate. Now, your basal metabolic rate is essentially what you burn throughout the day doing nothing. So if you're sitting on your butt all day long, it takes into account your muscle mass and your body fat and your age and all that good stuff. And it helps you see how much you are actually burning throughout the day without even working out. So you know that you need to be at least that number ultimately. And then those of you who have done it for too long, who have been at that low number, so you've been putting in more exercise and less calories than what you should for a period of time. And there's always a right time to do that. However, you've got to bring that number back up, especially as you start gaining more muscle and that number actually increases. Then you're going to be at an even bigger deficit, which is going to make your metabolism slow even more if you're doing it for too long. And the great thing is as you add more muscle, another reason why to strength train is you can eat more and burn more throughout the day. And I'm not saying you can go eat whatever you want, but you can eat more good calories, good fuel, if you will, and look and stay fit and stay lean and stay where you want to be. So you've got to pay attention to that number, and you've got to pay attention to how you feel. So if after your workouts you are just completely depleted, if you're not sleeping well, if you are waking up in the middle of the night, if you just never have energy, then chances are that you really should scale back those workouts and add some calories back in. Now, you may discover that your BMR is somewhere around like 1800 and you're only eating like 1200 right now. That's a big jump. And I don't recommend that you go right up to 1800 calories tomorrow. You need to gradually get there. Go about 100 a week, start adding. Keep your weight workouts the same and see how you feel week to week as you're adding more fuel in to those, and see if you don't feel better. You can also scale back some of your workouts, and you can start slowly adding, even if that 100 calories a week seems like a lot, or if you want to go for 200 and that seems a lot, then scale back your workouts a little bit and only do a little bit of increase week to week. But the key is you want to get to that number, if not more. And especially if you're really trying to build muscle, you've got to be eating enough. You're not going to build muscle like you want if you are not eating enough to do so. And 9 times out of 10, that means higher than that BMR number. No, it always means higher than that BMR number. So that is just some things to think about. And just know, if you need any help with this, I help clients with this kind of stuff all the time. There's some great resources out there as well, but I've got some links below, and I've also got other videos that you could definitely check out to help you with this. But I hope you enjoyed this message today. Please feel free to share it with anyone who might find value from it, and I will catch you next time.